Hey YouTube, I'm going to do a video on how I do my chicken fried steak. I have my pre-bought patties. I got flour, and in the flour I put salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder, and salt and pepper. And then I make an egg wash with a little bit of milk. My oil is heating up. And then on the side, normally you would have mashed potatoes, gravy, and corn. Well, we're having green beans instead of corn because we had this was about a week after Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna also put some salt and pepper in the egg wash mixture. Because I just prefer it that way. So that's just my preference. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. But make sure you test your oil to make sure your oil is hot enough, because that's kind of one of the tricks of the trade to make sure that your chicken fried steak don't stick. Some people will do it, some people won't. And if you don't test your oil, it's going to stick automatically. Okay, so I just take a little bit of the flour mixture and okay, it's ready. And I just crumble it like a little bit in the in the oil. Let me get my gloves, because you know how I feel about meat. Any kind of raw meat, nope. And then this egg mixture on top of it, not doing it. And I feel safer because my nails are all jagged. Even though I've cleaned my hands, washed them and all that stuff, it's this egg mixture, because the steps, there's 3 steps. You put it in the flour, put it in the egg mixture, then you put it back in the flour. Or you can just go egg, flour, pan. But for a really nice, juicy coating, you want to do the 3 steps. So you do it flour, eggs, flour again. And depending on my pan size will depend if I get, how many I get in. And your first coating doesn't have to be that thick. You just have to get enough on there to kind of get your second bit to hold. Okay, and then what I do with my non-floured hand is I take some, I shake it off a little bit, and then I put some salt. Should have taken this doggone lid off. It's off now. It's on the floor, but I just wash it before I put it back on. Okay. And then we take it over here to this pan. It's all nice and ready. And then you layer down real easy. Don't go crazy with laying it down, okay? Then I just keep changing gloves so that I don't have to put a little bit more salt so I don't forget. Salt and pepper on both sides. And depending on how much oil I have left will depend if I make gravy out of that or not. and then I'll get a fresh glove and I'll put down the second piece. It's only going to look like that I'm going to be able to fit 2 pieces in the pan. So, let me get this lid picked up. I'll wash that. Okay, so let me get another glove. We'll do one more chicken fried steak, and then we'll keep an eye on the Okay, I'm doing the second one, and the only reason I didn't show you the second one is because I showed you the first one, and then we lay that one down. And see how slowly you have to lay them down, because the oil will splatter everywhere. You're going to get it everywhere. You'll get it all over your stove, you'll get it all over your floor, and then it becomes a big oil trap of grease everywhere. Okay, so now we have 2 more pieces to cook for when those pieces are, and I flip them with tongs because that's why I cook it at the pace that I do, and I cook it like a little bit under medium on a gas. So on electric, I don't know. And you're kind of looking for, let me see if I can get you in the pan a little bit better. There, I'll just do this. See, I'm looking for browning around the edges that are real golden and beautiful. Browned edges like that. That's what I'm looking for before I go and flip them or mess with them. And I have the camera back a little bit because this is going to pop. So, and the green beans are going to go in the microwave. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to make gravy out of that and show you how I do that, or if I'm going to make packaged gravy. Not for sure about that yet. I know my mashed potatoes are instant, so everybody knows how to, pretty much everybody knows how to do instant mashed potatoes. You can also turn these with a spatula, which a lot of people will use the spatula to flip these so they don't rip which I probably will. I'll just turn them with a spatula because I don't want nothing on the bottoms to rip. All that nice golden delicious goodness, I don't want it to rip off the bottom, but this one looks like it's just about ready to flip. And because I really don't, like I said, I really don't like touching it. My pan gets a little bit nasty like that, but that's why I use tongs. But, and then I'll do another little bit of salt and pepper, only because we're some salt and pepper lovers in this house. So, and I'll move this one over a little bit. because it seems to be cooking a little. For some reason, on medium, this particular cast iron has the circumference of whatever my burner is will only get like really hot right there. So I have to turn it around, and like right here, I'm gonna have to flip it again and make sure this gets nice and golden like this did. But see how this blood is coming up? You want to make sure all that blood your meat's not bleeding anymore. And this is also another trick you can use too if you don't want to touch the meat, but you don't want to mess up your pan. Just grab a fork. See? And then you just put your fork to the side. And let me get some salt and pepper for that other piece. So this is going to be a little bit of a mess to clean. So I suggest you use a fork. I think of little tricks as I go too, so I've done that before, but I forget sometimes. So let's get a pot out for the mashed potatoes, because like I said, they're instant, and most people do know how to do instant mashed potatoes. Depending on the oil, well, I'll just make it in the pot. I was going to make it in the small pot, but I'll just do it in a regular pot. Because normally I do it in a smaller pot and then just make the gravy in there, but like I said, I think that's going to be too much oil. And my potatoes I make with milk and butter. Even though the package says water, I still use milk. I think they come out creamier than average potatoes do, so that's the way I do it that way. It's a personal preference. Each his own, I guess. And of course I put salt and pepper in my potatoes too. And I always let my chicken fried steak, because sometimes it can be. See how golden and delicious they look now? Turn it down just a little bit more. And then I'll take those off, and then we'll do the other two. But as I was saying about the paper plate, the reason that I put them on a paper plate is because I want that excess grease to drip off on a paper plate instead of on our plate that we're eating the food from. But let me get this mashed potatoes started. Turn that down low, because for some reason the mashed potatoes always go by real fast. I don't know why that is, but they do, because they're instant, I think. But this is another one of those, like, you could have this meal done in like say roughly about 30 minutes or so. Okay? It's not that hard, and it definitely doesn't take that much time. And then what I do is I do this. See how I'm kind of holding it against the edge, letting it drip for a few minutes, and then I'll put it on the paper plate. That's so that some, oh, see how I just did that? And it kind of shot oil right at you. Yeah, that's what I was avoiding, but it happened anyway. Okay, so let's get these last two pieces in. I turned down the oil a little bit already. Might have to do it again, because like I said, they're cooking rather quickly, and I don't understand that. Normally they don't cook. No matter how much I turn it down, it seems like it don't want to cooperate. So remember, flour, egg wash, which is just egg and milk. Some people won't use the milk, they'll just use straight egg. I think that it gives it a little bit of a thicker batter, which makes it, for me personally, I prefer chicken fried steak like this. It's a personal preference. So, oh goodness, the salt and pepper are all the ways on the other side of the kitchen again. So, I did it again. So, okay. So, this way, I will put them this way this time, because I noticed that it's cooking better this way. See, your first set, 2 that you cook, or 3 or whatever, it would have probably taken up the whole majority of the pan. But now that I know that it's the center that's cooking faster, then I can maneuver my pan a little bit better to get a better feel of what direction my cooking is going. Okay? So, it's, like I said, you know your cookware best, and you know what temperature cooks things the best at. I just give you the simple recipes so you can have a quick meal on the table after a hard day's worth of work, because a lot of people don't have time to do that, quick meal stuff, or DoorDash, or Grubhub, or whatever. I don't do any of that stuff, because the area I live in, I'm not saying that I wouldn't, I just don't do it because I don't live in areas where none of that stuff is readily available, nor do I have the income to do it, and I prefer homemade meals. I was raised on them. I think that I prefer them. That might be a little strange to say, but I do. A lot of people think that eating home cooking is overrated nowadays, but I don't think so. Okay, and let me get a spoon for these mashed potatoes, because I think that, that's almost to the point of and I buy the Idaho only potatoes, but I buy the roasted garlic or the cheese one, or sometimes buy the regular ones, but very rarely do I buy the regular Idaho because we prefer the cheese ones because for like shepherd's pie and things like that, or for this because that has garlic in it. This sometimes will intensify the garlic. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be too much oil. I would have to throw out some of that oil. I will probably just make the gravy that I have. And I do use the convenience of my microwave for vegetables. Because I just let me get these. See, I get to yapping and see if I get to yapping too much. But they still look nice and golden and beautiful and delicious. So there they're done. The mashed potatoes are done. Now I just gotta make the gravy. And that sound you hear is my can opener. I really like this can opener. It's a Walmart brand, but it holds the lid. I think, I don't know. My husband may not have gotten it. We may not have gotten it from Walmart, so don't quote me on that one. But it's a fiberware. I think that's Walmart. I'm not sure. Like I said, don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. And I gotta add a little bit of milk to my potatoes because they're a little bit stiff. And a little bit of butter. And put some butter in my vegetables. And then put it in a roll cozy that I have on my eBay store. If you'd like one, keeps you from burning your hands. And especially in these cold months, or if you live where it's cold, and you feel like your ice cream fits. Okay, that's good. Those potatoes are good. Now that I turned them off, added that little bit of milk and all that, they're great now. Okay. So, gotta move this over. The gravy. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, 2 cups of water. Yeah. Whisk gravy into 2 cups of water. Remember where my other, never had this problem before. Okay, turn this off. Never had this problem where I've used every measuring cup. I made some banana bread, some buckwheat flour banana bread yesterday. It was someone else's recipe, so I wasn't going to take claim to that bread. Because it is someone else's recipe. We had some buckwheat flour, and it looked like a very good recipe, and it is low in sugar. It came out delicious. So we had some for this morning for breakfast. It was quite delicious. So let me take these out of the pan. Mighty delicious looking. Okay, so that's that. There's the mashed potatoes. You guys know how to make instant mashed potatoes. I'm gonna make the gravy in the back, the green beans I'm doing right now. Whew. And I'll show you what the finished plate looks like, and then we'll have a taste tester. But I gotta wait and make this I'm gonna put these seasonings away. If I don't put stuff away as soon as I get done with it, oof, I forget. Horrible about it. Just horrible about it. I wash that lid still, that's why it's over there. So, let's get a plate so we can get our little dinner going. And my hair might look a little wild. It's been cold and I've been bundled up, so don't mind my hair, and I'm just trying to keep warm. It's been in the low 50s. I know that other places will be a lot colder than that. Okay, let me turn this up. This is seeming like it's taking forever for some water to boil. I know, watch pot never boils, but I need that to boil. And I do it in small. I don't do a whole dump. I don't know why I don't, but I don't know why, but I did that one time, and it all went to the bottom. It went blunk and plopped all the way to the bottom, and just stayed there in one clump. It didn't make no sense to me. No bit of sense at all. So now, I'm back to doing the slow pour again, because the one time I was in a hurry and was trying to rush to get a meal done, I messed up the meal by messing up the gravy. At least it wasn't on Thanksgiving, because we had family in, and I was making the whole meal, which went excellent. We got so stuffed. Okay, give it a minute or two and let it, see if it'll thicken up. It seems like it's thickening up. And I put gravy on my chicken fried steak. I normally cut my chicken fried steak up before I put my plate together, which I probably will. And usually my husband's home to have a taste test with me, but he's at work, so I'm gonna have to just sit over at where he normally sits and be the taste tester for both of us, which It's fine with me. Fine by me. Okay, let me cut her up. Because I'm with, oh, just as I say that. Okay. Well, we'll get the green beans out of the, because I like my stuff cut up. I don't know why. The only thing I don't like cut up really, I'll cut the rest of it, is, that's why I had the salt and pepper over there, is because the green beans need salt and pepper. Okay. And see, this right here, what I'm about to show you, is the exact reason why bowl cozies, even if you don't buy one from me or you've ever gotten one as a gift, this is why I have one. I just got this out of the microwave. I cannot feel any heat on my hand at all. And I put this in the microwave for 5 minutes. And it's got the green beans, and you can see the steam rolling off the top of that sucker. But let me put my salt and pepper in there. Salt. And some pepper. And get my spoon. And we'll serve them up. But, yeah, even if you don't get them from me, no pressure to get them from me. Just get you one because you will save some burns on your hands for anything. You heat up some soup in the microwave, you heat up vegetables in the, or you have leftovers that you want in a bowl. Like you have make a beef stew or a pot roast or anything like that. Chicken noodle soup. Anything. Vegetables. What else have I used it for? Let's see. I've used it for literally everything. I don't... Oh, I put my chicken Alfredo in a bowl. And I'm heating it up. Don't pay me no mind to eat it that way. And I could have kept that. Oh, that's right. It was a... Where's my other... Ouch, it just pinched my finger. What's this spoon? Put some... Okay. And there's that. Okay, and there's the finished chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes, gravy, and some, normally I would heat up some dinner rolls. I'll probably take some dinner rolls out and heat them up, a couple of them for my husband. But yeah, just some green beans. Normally you'd have corn with it, mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken fried steak with gravy. And from start to finish, your dinner's done. And we'll be taking a taste test. Hold on. Okay, we're going to get to our taste test right now. I moved locations because I wanted Papa Squat. See what I mean? Like, been a long day. Okay, let's get into this. A little piece of chicken fried steak, a little bit of mashed potatoes and gravy. Instant mashed potatoes and gravy are pretty good. Mm. I hope you give this recipe a try. Like I said, 30-minute meal. Very easy to make. Very nourishing and very warm in your belly. Especially on cold days. So just remember, you have nothing nice to say about somebody or something. Don't say anything at all. Bye.